Pass it over to you.
Okay, thank you. Do you have a website?
I do. It's Julie Ray. Oh, you know what?
And do you have any materials?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's all in my material.
Okay.
That'll make it really easy for you guys. You're welcome.
Pull it up real quick here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's toward the bottom. It's julieray.memphis.com.
I'm blind.
Wow,
Oh,
I need to
it's right there in the blue.
to make it bigger.
No, it's just kind of me looking at my eyes and cooperating like they should. Sorry about that.
That's okay, no problem.
I was a big fan of your place.
Thank you. Me
so
too.
bummed.
Me
I love
too.
the hummus.
Me too. I'm
Just
trying
remind-
to open again, but it's been very difficult.
Same place?
No, with.
All right, guys, we want to see this, just, we'll keep passing it around, so.
Very close, though. It is an uptown.
Is it?
I'm being a bigger pioneer. I'm going to be closer to Chelsea.
Wonderful. Very good, very good.
That's good.
All right, Julie, we'll go ahead and get started. So
Okay.
how we're going to do this is we'll pretty much go through the questions that you answered
Okay.
on the survey. We do get kind of off on tangents here and there based on what
Good.
you say or based on what we ask and such. We will be writing, so I apologize for that if you look at us and we all have our heads down and such, but it's just that we're taking notes because we will take this to a broader committee, and we need to make sure, obviously, that we're getting as much information as we can, hence the reason why we're taking it too, I know.
That's very daunting.
I know it is. I saw myself on there like 2 minutes ago and I ran, so.
I need a filter.
I know, just, yeah, I hear you. So anyhow, could you, let's just talk about you as a candidate for Memphis City Council and Stand for Children. Stand for Children speaks for public education in the city of Memphis, Shelby County. What training or experiences do you have which align you with the Stand for Children and providing all children with a quality public education?
Training per se, none. And I have no children to go to public or private school. I didn't go to public schools. I went to a county school. And I love that these children organizations are coming up with public schools. It's been a hot topic. It is a problem because I don't have a lot of experience with public schools. However, in my neighborhood, I'm extremely active, and I've been working with the children in the neighborhood. And I actually saw Kip Diamond School in there. What I do is I try and promote the teachers in the schools through the organizations that I'm with. And it allows a connection between the children, the teachers, and the community, like myself. Because I live on a corner where all the children go past.
So where do you live? Like what neighborhood are you?
I'm in Uptown,
Right.
but I'm at the busiest intersection in Uptown for schools, which is at the corner of Danny Thomas and Looney.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
Right.
Yeah,
And
busy.
so
Right.
almost everybody knows where my house is because it's the last place you could turn around. But I do. I've written articles about like when the new principal comes into Humes, and I introduce them to the neighborhood through the Uptown Community newsletter, the DNA. And I did an article on the Kip Diamond School and Michael Whaley, the other charter school in our neighborhood. And I do care for the children. I don't have children, so I'm able to treat them all as my kids, which is great for me. And
So which associations do you work with where you're reaching out to the teachers?
well, I've worked through all the community associations that I'm affiliated with, the Downtown Neighborhood Association, the Uptown Community Association. Wow.
And are those all on your website?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
They are.
Okay. All right.
I'm trying to think.
Let me ask you this, and I'll say I don't know much about charter schools. What you mentioned in some of your questions to our survey that you're a proponent of charter schools. How have they been beneficial for your neighborhood?
For our particular neighborhood, they actually get very involved, more so than the city's schools themselves. The administrators, the teachers, very hands-on. They really produce, I think, really great kids in a great forum. And I know Michael Whaley with, what's his name is, I can't think of it, but the charter school in Uptown, he calls his children scholars, and it's really cute. And we were able, I didn't do it, but I facilitated in putting a what do you call it, a garden.
Community garden?
Thank you, a community garden in there. But it was for the students to see the plants grow and to learn. And we got a couple of people involved in the community. So, but I'm a proponent for charter schools, and I will tell you honestly, I've been advised not to talk about this too much, but I don't, I have to be me. So what I think it helps with the overcrowding of the classrooms. I really do. I think if we can get some of these kids into charter schools, it will really help the public school teachers.
If you could explain to us, what do you think public education in Memphis, what are the 3 top issues facing public education in the city of Memphis?
Well, funding's always a problem, of course. I think the quality of life, because I deal more with neighborhoods, I think the quality of life within the neighborhood, I can't say all the public school neighborhoods, but a lot of them, especially in most of the ones in District 7, the quality of the neighborhoods are really, I would like to get the students more involved and the city schools. Sometimes it's very hard to get the city schools involved because they have a lot of red tape.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit more? I mean, things that you have done and obstacles that you have come up against?
Well, I know, especially with Humes, because a lot of my immediate neighbor children went to Humes, and it understandably so, the security there, you don't want someone coming in, and so it's very hard to enter the schools, number one, if you're in the community. We can get them to work with us, but it's a little more difficult, which is why I try and go through the community centers, and the charter schools are a little easier to deal with because they're already gated and have security and work within the community a little better. I don't know if I'm verbalizing this correctly, but they have been very nice. The teachers will talk with us, educators. They will work with us. It's just not as much of a community function. It's more the kids go to school and then they leave school.
Do you think it's limited to perhaps just that particular administration there, or do you think it's always kind of been the way?
With my limited experience with public schools, I couldn't answer that with any kind of authority.
Yeah. Okay, so you said funding and quality of life. Do you have a third one?
A third one, safety, of course, is a big issue.
Well, do you have any anecdotal stories or safety issues at Humes or the charter schools, or just from your you've been back here since 1998, is that what I saw?
Correct.
Have you been in Uptown since that time?
I have. I had a restaurant in the Pinch, and I lived above the restaurant for 2 years, and then I bought my home. I'm sorry, I must have lived there 4 years. Oh, wow. And then I bought my home in 2002.
My sister, before she moved to New Orleans, lived on Looney. I just can't remember where. It was across this, well, it was next door to a church. They shared kind of a dirt driveway, and it was a bottom floor and a top floor. It was a rental deal.
That's John Griffin's property.
Yeah, I think that was his
yes.
name, kind of white stone.
I'm sure I know her.
Rachel Bolden was her roommate's name. My sister's name was Elizabeth.
Yes,
Elizabeth.
Absolutely. I've met her, sure.
Well, so do you have any safety stories, any anecdotal stories about?
I hear stories from the children, of course.
What do you hear?
There was one time when some of the children were being harassed by their children. This one young man in particular. But I will tell you, the teachers at the schools near me are great. I mean, when they were telling me this story, they got the educator involved, and and it was resolved. So, I mean,